Hey y'all, it's your girl Black in the City, and we are outside. Okay, we are currently on a 13-hour layover in Raleigh, Durham. It is considered a short layover, but it is what it is. We're on 8 days and we are just happy to be here. We are just happy to be here. I have been wanting to put out a video to talk to y'all about schedules, how much we get paid, what do some of our trips look like, etc, etc. So without further ado, let's just get into it. Okay, so I do have my Sky Pro here that I will be looking at for reference, in addition to my phone where I took notes to kind of help me get on track, because you know, once I start talking, baby, it don't stop. So yes, so without further ado, y'all, let's get into it. Here we go. Hello. Girl, you lying. What do they do now? Girl, I heard this phone ring. I said, Lord, come on now. Like, this is the life of a flight attendant. Y'all see I'm here recording mid-film. We live in effect. We rolling. And I get a call about one of my flight attendants getting a reroute. Like, these are the things that happen. You think you're going one place and then crew scheduling call that phone, baby. Ring, ring, ring. You're not going there anymore. Anyways, y'all see what happens. This is the life of a flight attendant. We get rerouted, things happen. That's just the nature of the beast, okay? But we're not gonna let that distract us. We're gonna get right back into it. Like, let's get into it. So May 11th, we had a report time of 6:29 a.m. and typically our report times are 1 hour from our departure time. So your report time just basically means you have to be anywhere within the vicinity of your gate at least an hour prior to departure. Y'all, I am trying to record this video, but the universe is just not letting me be great. I just got a call from crew scheduling. I had been rerouted, but it kind of works in my favor. Tomorrow I was gonna have 3 legs. I was gonna deadhead from Raleigh, Durham back to Atlanta, and then do a turn somewhere. I don't remember where the turn was, but I was gonna finish at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Now I'm gonna just work Raleigh, Durham to Orlando, Orlando to Atlanta, and finish at 11:30 a.m. So it works out in my favor, kinda, sorta, but anyway, let's get back to the video. May 11th, I was the flight leader on my trip, and it was a 2-day trip, and we started off at my home base here in Atlanta. I had a layover that night in Oklahoma City, and I think it will be the perfect trip to kind of break down for you all and give you all an idea of what you could possibly make on a 2-day trip and how many legs you might work, etc, etc. So let's talk about this 2-day trip. So May 11th, excuse me, May 11th, I was the flight leader on my trip, and we had 3 legs that day. So we worked, the first leg was Atlanta to Nashville. Atlanta to Nashville was a 45-minute flight, and it was 214 miles. Now, we do our services based off how many miles a flight is, and because this flight is so short, it's a no service flight, so we don't do anything unless it's an emergency. Then we can do what we need to do. And then we had a 55-minute flight from Nashville back to Atlanta, and again, it's 214 miles, so we did not do a service on our second flight. After our second flight, we had a 2-hour and 57-minute sit in Atlanta. Flight attendants love sits. No, we don't. We don't like sits. Sits are wasted time. Anyways, after our 2-hour and 57-minute sit, 3 hours, we had a deadhead from Atlanta to Oklahoma City, and that flight was, it was 2 hours and 3 minutes and 759 miles, but we were deadheading, so we didn't have to work the flight. We can go to sleep, you can watch TV, listen to music, do whatever you want to do, because you're riding as a passenger at that point in time. After that, we did lay over in Oklahoma City for 16 hours and 12 minutes. And then the next day, which was May 12th, we started our day with a departure time of 7:59 a.m. And we had a 2-hour and 10-minute flight from Oklahoma City back to Atlanta. And again, that was 759 miles. Only this time we were not deadheading. We did work the flight. So we did have to do a full service, a full beverage service for this flight. After we did our first leg, we had a 2-hour and 33-minute sit in Atlanta. After our 2-hour and 33-minute sit, we had a 1:42 p.m. departure time where we went from Atlanta to Fort Lauderdale, and that flight was 1 hour and 46 minutes. The miles was 582 miles from Atlanta to Fort Lauderdale. Therefore, it was a full service flight. After our Fort Lauderdale flight, y'all, we were supposed to have a 2-hour and 30-minute sit. However, we had now one, two delays, and that led to us having a 4-hour and 3-minute sit in Fort Lauderdale. We were just sitting in the lounge, bored out of our minds. Okay, we hate sits, because sits basically mean you're just sitting around waiting until it's time for you to do your next flight. You can get food, you can take a nap in the lounge, you can talk on the phone, you can wait at the gate. Whatever you want to do, you can do in the airport, or you can do whatever you want to do, period, as long as you're back at the gate prior to your next flight. We left Fort Lauderdale at 7:32 p.m. It was a 1 hour and 58-minute flight, and again, it was 582 miles, so we did have to offer a full beverage service to those passengers. Now, all in all, we were gone 2 days. From May 11th to May 12th was go home day. Our trip credit was worth 11 hours and 43 minutes. Your trip credit is what you want to pay attention to, because that is your flight credit. That's the bulk of your pay, because your flight pay is the highest amount of money that you can get paid. Everything else is trickles down from there. Our time away from base was 39 hours and 26 minutes, and this is how much we will get paid for time away from base. This is how much we got paid for our trip credit. All in all, with our boarding pay and all of our other pay credits included, the trip came out to be $605.14. All in all, we had a 2-day trip. We worked 3 legs each day, and yeah. So I really wanted to put this video out just to give you guys a synopsis of what a day in the life of a flight attendant is like when we are gone on these 1-day trips, 2-day trips, 3-day trips, 4-day trips. We have a variety of different trips that we can go on. It just depends on what kind of trips you bid for, you know, your seniority level, what you can hold, etc., etc. There are a lot of key factors that go into the type of trips that you get. That's first. The second reason why I wanted to do this type of video is to show you that we work long hours. So although you might get paid $500-600 for 2 days, you're gone 2 days, whereas most people work a 9 to 5. So in their minds, 2 days is okay, I'm working 9 to 5 to this day and I go home. Day 2, 9 to 5 and go home. For flight attendants, that's not the case. We might leave at 6 a.m. on Monday and we're gone all the way until, if it's a 2-day trip, Tuesday, maybe Tuesday night, we'll come back home. And so you're getting paid $600 for however many hours that is. And when you break down the calculations for how many hours you're gone versus how many hours you're getting paid, it's change. And this is what I mean. Let me give y'all a real world example. So we're gonna do the calculation. I'm ready. So let's just use a 2-day trip, for example, and say that you leave and get to the airport for 6 a.m. Monday morning. You're gonna be gone until 6 p.m. Tuesday evening. So that's going to be a 2-day trip. So the length of time that you will be gone for this 2-day trip will be 36 hours. From 6 a.m. Monday to 6 p.m. Tuesday evening. 36 hours. Now, 36 hours times your hourly pay. A junior flight attendant should be getting paid on the average of $1,100 to $1,200 for a 2-day trip. For 36 hours, the length of time that you're gone, you should be getting paid $1,100 to $1,200 for a 2-day trip. But for flight attendants, we don't calculate every hour that we're at work or away from work for work. We calculate we get the bulk of our money from our flight time. So only when we're in the air, that's when we get the bulk of our money. So although we get paid for our layovers and our sits, etc., it's nothing, and I do mean nothing, compared to your flight credit hours. So although we're gone for lengthy periods of time, it's basically like we're not getting paid because the amount is so small that it does add up. Don't get me wrong, it does add up. However, our pay is completely different from most people's pay. Most people, you have a set rate, and what you get paid is what you get paid. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Like whatever, you could be doing this test, that test, whatever. You will still be getting paid your hourly rate or your regular salary. For flight attendants, we have so many different types of pay for each thing that we do, and most of it is a couple dollars, whereas again our flight pay is the bulk of what we get paid. And your flight pay will really just depends on the airline that you work for. I believe some start at maybe $20 an hour, where some are almost at $35 an hour. It really just depends. But what we pay attention to again is the flight pay, because we know that's how much we're going to get paid. So although we're gone for 3 days, we might only be getting paid for 16 hours for 3 days, which is 72 hours, up to 72 hours that we could possibly be gone. So it is a lot, and sometimes it cannot seem worth it because you're thinking, I'm spending so much time away from home. Is it really worth it? Because it can seem like you're putting in more to it than you're actually getting in return. Yes, the flight benefits are great. Yes, the perks are great, but a lot of us have family. A lot of us have outside responsibilities, school, side jobs, kids, etc. So you really have to factor in if the time that you'll be spending away from home is worth the pay that you will be receiving. Because again, you could be gone for a 3-day trip, which is up to 72 hours, hopefully not longer. But most 3-day trips for junior people, you will get paid 16 credit hours, up to maybe 20 is on the higher end. A 20-hour 3-day trip usually goes senior because you get more money for those, obviously. So most 3-day trips for junior people are 16 hours. So you're going to get paid 16 credit hours for a 3-day trip. I hope this is making some type of sense. I can do more examples if it's not, but I feel like I'm dragging it. So I'm gonna stop. Poo-poo, we dragging it? Rocco's laid out, he's living the good life. I'm about to go to the gym, hence my outfit. And yeah, I will say, although I do feel like we work a lot, flight attendants do put in more, y'all. In the beginning, flight attendants really have to grind it out as a junior flight attendant. However, y'all, I can see it, I can feel it, it's right there. If you stick with it, oh baby, the sweet side is so good. You can make so much money and have so much fun at work if you can just get through the being at the bottom. If you could just get accustomed or find a way to find a sweet spot. Excuse me, that's my phone. If you can get to 5 years or 6 years where the money, y'all, I am really focused, I'm determined. I see the life that I want for myself, and I know that I can achieve it as a flight attendant, so I'm sticking with it. But again, I had to do some self-evaluating for myself with my own personal goals, things that I know I can handle, things that I know I can grow through. So for me, being a flight attendant, it very much so is worth it, and I can see the growth in my career already over this past year from when I started up until now. I will be 1 year in 8 days, and I can see so much growth in the type of trips that I'm getting and how I'm getting trips on my A days. I'm already seeing so much growth that I can only imagine what it's going to be like for me over the next couple of years. So stick with it, y'all. If you can find a way to make it work for you. Being a junior flight attendant is tough, but it's not always tough. This job is so easy. We do have our times where we're frustrated, we're overwhelmed, whatever, but the day-to-day of this job is so easy, and there's so many perks that if you can just get past that's a big ask. If you could just get past the junior struggles and find a way to make it work for you, you can really live a lavish lifestyle, because top out pay, at least with my company, ooh baby, what? Throw it in the bag. You can really be sitting pretty if you stick with it. So like I said, I see the type of life that I want, and I love the flexibility of this job. I love being able to drop and swap my trips to get the type of trips that I want, to get the days off that I want. Yes, some things are out of your control on your schedule, but for the most part, you can finesse to get what it is that you want and make the lifestyle that you want to have available to you. It's so much flexibility. I love meeting new people, seeing new things, trying new foods. Like, it can be an amazing career if you let it, okay? You just have to stick with it. However, disclaimer, this lifestyle is not for everybody, and that's okay. You just have to learn that about yourself. You just have to know that, and once you realize it's not for you, that's okay. But yeah, I feel like I'm rambling, so I am going to check out unless I think of anything else. Y'all have a good one. It's your girl Black in the City, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace. Outside, okay? I said, are you kidding me? Now my battery wants to die. To be $633.90 for 2 days. That's not bad, because when you think about it, it only goes up from here. Only goes up from here, okay?